folks, good day to all of you. I am Narendra from Sanatana Yoga Academy. Lovely to see you all again. In this video, I am going to talk about a common problem people have and in fact commonly misdiagnosed as well. Now, you might have hip pain, low back pain, and sometimes difficulty climbing up the stairs or standing up from sitting position, whether you are seated on a chair or seated on the floor. And you might be wondering what's causing this. You have gone for scans and scans don't indicate any major issues in your hip joints or vertebrae. Now, this could be a symptom of tight hip flexor muscles. Tight hip flexor muscles can cause all these symptoms that I just told you. Of course, there are other issues also that can cause low back pain and hip pain, but predominantly tight hip flexor muscles could cause you all these symptoms I just told you. So how can yoga help release your tight hip flexor muscle? There are several yoga practices that can help in this, but today I am going to share with you some yoga asanas about using which you can actually stretch and loosen up your tight hip flexor muscles. So before I go into the yoga poses or asanas, yoga asanas, let me just give you a very quick explanation of the function of the hip flexor muscles and where they are. Knowing that this is a video on yoga for tight hip flexors and not an anatomy lecture, I'll just keep it simple. I'll try to avoid as much as possible technical terms. So let me stand up and explain to you what the hip flexor muscles do. Hip flexor muscles help you in moving your hip joints. Okay, either this way or that way around here. Okay, and not only that, even your legs coming apart, coming in. So there are several of these muscles. There is one muscle which is hidden deep inside our body, and that's called the psoas muscle. It starts from your lumbar spine, goes under all the other muscles and hooks up here in the inside of your femur bone, which is your leg bone, as you can see in the image in this video. So that's the psoas muscle, and when that is tight, your posture will be bad. You won't be able to sit erect. You'll be slouching. Okay, so that's psoas. Now let me come to another important muscle called the iliacus. Iliacus muscle is quite interesting. Iliacus muscle runs around from your hip bone, which is the pelvic bone, and it comes to the top of your legs, and that helps you. It comes here and hooks up here from the top of your hip bone or pelvic bone all the way here. Okay, and that's also involved in hip rotation. Okay. Then you have this short little fellow from the bottom of your hips. It comes and hooks up here. It's called pectineus muscles, and that's used in moving your legs this way. For example, when you do certain yoga poses, if you feel groin pain, you're probably overstretching that muscle or it's tight. So that's called pectineus. You can see the images on the video. Now you've got another one called sartorius muscle. That's actually the longest muscle in our body itself. It starts somewhere in the middle of my hip bone, runs all the way down to the inside of my knee joint. Okay, so that's pretty long muscle. If you're kicking a football or kicking across, kicking your leg across, that's used. Then you have this other muscle which is called the rectus femoris. Now rectus femoris again starts from the bottom of your hip and comes in the front and stops just short on the top of your knee joint here. Okay, and if that's tight, you will find doing squatting etc. very difficult or painful. Okay, so that's several of the hip flexor muscles. Then on here on your sides, again you will find this starting from the top of your hip. This muscle runs on either side. Down here, it's a funny name, tensor fascia latae. Now that muscle may not help you in moving much, but it gives you stability and balance. So when there's tight or slack as in weak, you'll find balance a problem. So this whole complex of muscles are called hip flexors, and they can tighten up for various reasons. Some of the common reasons why it can tighten up is sitting for long prolonged times without standing up and stretching or doing some toe touches or twists. So you sit prolonged, either you're driving a truck or sitting in the office. So sitting for long, especially in the same posture, or even poor posture like sitting in front of your computer hunched, or even worse, playing computer games for hours and hours without taking a break and stretching everywhere. So this can happen, lack of stretching. Okay, so that's why you must make it a point, especially for people in sedentary work, to stretch, right? Even if you're doing things like gardening or manual labor work, it's always good to occasionally stretch everything every few hours or every hour. Now, there is another reason why you can get tight hip flexors is, let's say if you're an athlete and you're doing a lot of running or perhaps even cycling, so that also can cause hip flexor tightening, especially if you're running or cycling, you're always lifting your legs up and down, so the hip flexors are used and strained and they tighten up. So when you run, after a run or after a cycling trip, always stretch. Okay, so these are just some of the reasons why you can get tight muscles. I explained to you the symptoms earlier. So now I come to treatment. Now if you have hip pain or lower back pain, always go to your doctor and your physio and get it checked, because these could be due to a lot of reasons. Okay, so don't treat this video as a cure-all for your hip pain and lower back pain, but do consult your doctor and your physiotherapist. Now once you have, what are the benefits of having well-functioning, relaxed, not tight hip flexors? You will basically have overall mobility, and especially the older you get, this becomes very, very important. Of course, less pain in your hip and lower back, better posture. Better posture, you can stand erect, and better balance as well. So especially those of you who are past 30, you have to really look after your hip flexor muscles, and you know why, as I told you, for balance, posture, all of which can lead to falls, injuries and so many other complications. So now let me come to some yoga poses that we can do. I'm treating this as a beginner's session for hip flexor flexing, so I'm not going to ask you to do something that I normally ask athletes whom I do one-to-one training for athletes to improve performance using yoga. So I am not going to do some of the very strong stuff that I do with athletes, but I am doing this offering you some of these poses that you can do at home looking at this video. Now I will start you with what we call bound feet pose, right? Baddha Kona Asana. So you sit with your feet together, fingers wrapped around your toes. That's your bound feet pose. Okay, folks? So in the bound feet pose, what you do is you sit straight. First thing, you look down at your knees and see where your knees and thighs are. Are they up here in the air? Or are they somewhere in the mid-air? Or are they all the way down touching the floor mat? Okay? And don't get dejected if your knees are held high here. But this is a good sign. This is indeed a sign of tight hip flexors. You remember I told you about the tensor fascia latae muscle here. If that's tight, you will find, unless you manhandle your knee, you can't go down. Then if your little pectineus muscle from the bottom of your pelvic bone that comes in here is tight, it won't allow this movement. So initially you sit here and gently flutter. So this is bound feet pose, but because people are encouraged to do this movement, it's also called butterfly pose. Though traditionally it's called the bound feet pose. Okay? So you do this, get a good idea mentally, explore what are the stretches happening, where does it hurt, or anything that you can observe. And when you do these poses, because your knee is bent deep, always watch for knee pain. Your knee ligaments overstretch when you do these poses. So don't allow, don't push further if you get severe knee pain around the knee joint. Okay. Of course, before you start these poses, if you do warm-ups, then your knee ligaments will be stretched and warmed up. Look up my videos on how to warm up, how to breathe during yoga, how to warm up, and how to place weight on your palms, how to stand. These are some of the videos you will find on my channel. So now we come back to bound feet pose. So just keep on doing that move and let things stretch. Okay. Not all your hip flexors will stretch for this move, but that's okay. You start here. Okay. And from here, you keep on fluttering, and then once you go down as low as you can, maintain that static stretch and relax. If you want, you can close your eyes or open your eyes and engage in abdominal breathing for about 10 breaths, 10 cycles of inhale, exhale. Don't do shallow rapid breathing, do deep abdominal breathing. Again, you will find the video on deep abdominal breathing in this channel. It's extremely important during yoga poses to do deep abdominal breathing. Deep abdominal breathing helps you relax your muscles, and it's not something that you do only during a yoga session. You do it throughout your life. You did that when you were born as a baby, we forgot it, so you have to reclaim deep abdominal breathing. Okay, so that is the bound feet pose, and keep on fluttering. And from the bound feet pose, I want you to go down on your back, lie down on your back, lying on your back. Lift your left leg up, cross your right leg, wrap both your hands around your left thigh, push your shoulder blades flat against the mat, tighten all your hand muscles and pull your left thigh towards the chest. Right. Don't hunch your shoulders, push it back and stay here for 10 to 15 cycles of inhale, exhale. lying down king pigeon, Supta Rajakapotasana. Then you switch legs, hold your right leg up, bend 90 degrees and cross your left leg, wrap both your hands around your right thigh and flattening your shoulder blades against the mat. Pull hard as you can. As you pull your right thigh, you will feel the stretch here, around here. So you will have to do 10 to 15 cycles of inhale, exhale in this pose. Okay. Now this is called the lying down king pigeon pose. So of course then you have the upright king pigeon pose. Okay. So I am going to now show you the upright king pigeon pose. Some of you might not be able to do it. If you can't do it, probably because of knee pain or some other reasons, injuries maybe, don't worry, just try your best. Okay, so in the lying down king pigeon, you stand first in what I call table pose, right? You keep your palms under your shoulders and then gently walk your right knee as far forward as you can between your hands. Push your left leg behind. Then swing. Let me turn to the mat, turn to the camera, then you can see me better. So you walk your right knee forward, then swing your right foot out to near your left palm, left leg stretched behind. This is actually a back bend. Okay. And then inhale, stretch your spine tall, puff your chest out, bend backwards and stay here. Now while you're staying here, my right thigh and right buttocks are touching the mat. Let's say because of tightness, your right buttock and right thigh are off the mat, that's fine too, right? Keep your hands straight. Here you're putting weight on your palms. So to avoid wrist pain, you must do hand lock, right? Which is essentially carrying the weight of the weight on your fingers and the periphery of the palms, avoiding here. There is a video that I have done, how to avoid wrist pain during yoga. Please locate it and check it out. So here I am with my hand lock on, and if my bum is higher than off the mat, all you do is lift it and drop it, lift it and drop it. Let gravity do the stretching for you. Okay, so that is king pigeon pose. Again, stay for 10 to 15 cycles of inhale, exhale, roughly about 15 to 30 seconds. Ideally 30 seconds would be very good. Now from king pigeon pose, I am going to ask you to do extended or lying down king pigeon. So here you stretch your hands out and come down. As you come down, bringing your face towards the floor. Keep your chin, don't tuck your chin into your chest, keep it away from your chest, and you will feel the big stretches around here. Okay. Stay for 10 to 15 cycles of inhale, exhale, and then switch legs. So you again come back to your table pose. This time you walk your left foot slowly near your right hand and stay here. And again, if your buttocks are above the mat, just lift your buttocks, drop it, drop it, drop it. Eventually, with a few sessions, everything will stretch here. and then again you go into extended king pigeon pose. Utthita Rajakaputasana, and maintain each position for 10 to 15 cycles of inhale, exhale. The extent of stretch you do will get better and better as you start practicing. So don't worry about where you are right now in this practice. So from here I'm going to take you to a few other poses. Cobra pose, which is very familiar to most people. So you lie on your back, palms near your shoulders, toes pointing backwards, and then with the inhale, come up, push your shoulders away from your ears, looking up into Cobra pose, and again staying in this pose for 10 to 15 cycles of breathing. Okay, inhale and exhaling. So now with the Cobra pose, there is a video that Cobra pose is essentially a back bend. So there is a video that I have done entirely on back bends. You will find all the the finer points of doing back bends in that video called back bends, yoga back bends, which will actually help you get all the finer points of the Cobra pose. Okay, so I got just a few more poses, folks. I'm offering you about a few of these poses, so you can try these within your capacity of stretch. So again, now we come to locust pose. In the locust pose, you lie flat, hands beside your legs, palms facing the ceiling, and we are trying to stretch our psoas muscle. So inhale and come up, hands behind you, and if possible legs, thighs also off the floor. Okay, you might find it a strong back bend. Your heart rate might go up. Doesn't matter, try as much as you can, and sometimes you can modify it and just stay here and only bring your upper body up. If you find the locust pose too hard, only the upper body up, and then try your legs one at a time, raising your legs 10 to 15 repetitions on each leg. Okay, and also coming up, going down, coming up, going down 10 to 15 times to slowly loosen up your psoas muscles. So most of these are done on the mat, either in seated or lying down mode. Now I'm going to get you on your feet and do two more poses before we stop. So this is called the divine monkey pose or Hanuman asana. You stand on your right leg with your left leg as far behind as you can. Okay, and you stand upright. This too is a back bend. So you stand upright and look up, puff your chest out, and then lunge your right knee forward. Lunge forward, push your pelvis down, and you will feel the stretch on your left rectus femoris muscles on the front of your thighs. Eventually your fingertips will even touch the mat. But don't lean forward, keep up that back bend, bending back from the middle of your spine and staying here. Again for 10 to 15 cycles of inhale, exhale. Then you repeat the same thing on your left leg. Okay, so that is Hanumanasana or Divine Monkey Pose. Lunge your left knee forward as much as you can. Sometimes you might experience kneecap pain. Keep a cushion under your kneecap. So that is Hanumanasana. And if you have tightness here, do this in a dynamic mode. So what I mean by dynamic mode is come back to your right leg and you stay upright, back bend, bend backwards, lunge, relax, lunge, relax, lunge, relax 20 times. Then you change legs and lunge, relax, lunge, relax 20 times. Slowly you will find that you can eventually stretch most of your muscles around the hip flexor. So I'm just going to ask you to do one more. Let's see how you feel doing this. If you can do it, try it. Again, coming back to the Divine Monkey Pose. This is called the Twisted Monkey Pose, one version of the Twisted Monkey Pose. You stand on your right leg, lean over, place your left hand on the floor to take your weight, lift your right hand up, look over your right shoulder and twist, looking up. Twisted Monkey Pose, one of the Twisted Monkey Pose versions. Again, for about 10 to 15 cycles of inhale and exhale, and do the same thing, this time on your left leg. I'll do it this way so I can see you. So that's my left leg bent, right leg straight behind, weight on my right hand, left hand pointing to the ceiling, and I am also lunging as well. So that's the Twisted Monkey, Divine Monkey Pose, Pravrata Hanuman Asana. To these folks, this should give you enough flexure of your hip flexor muscles to start with, folks. Try this and hopefully you will find this very useful. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button, press the bell, we will notify you of any updates, and also please like us. That will encourage us to give you more and more videos on this channel. Also watch out on our website www.Sanatana Yoga Academy. Go to the online courses tab and you will see current online courses as well as future online courses. There is one online course that we are currently preparing, yoga for athletes and beginners. So it has beginners component and athletes component where we address hip flexors, core strength, everything. It's an online course which should be released in the next few weeks, hopefully. And I hope to see you again very soon, folks. Namaste. Wishing you abundance, peace and happiness in your life. Thank you.